Yeah, this deck is base. Yo, what's up, guys? Today I have a super free-to-play trap BA deck that you can take into the ladder for the XYZ event and clap up the competition. I went 7 in a row, undefeated, 3,500 medals after they made the update where you get 500 medals per win, and basically climbed to the most amount of gems that you can get past, I think it was like past 3,200 gems or something like that. So I played this deck. There's a lot of cards in here that are super not mandatory, to be quite honest. Like Acid Golem, I never made. And if you look at the main deck in general, it's like not too many ultra rares. The only one is like really Solemn Strike and stuff like that. If you guys aren't familiar with the event, it's basically an XYZ only event. And I decided to play BAs because why not? Yeah, it's be cool to relive a little bit of 2014, 2015 Duel Alliance format if you guys know anything about that. Let's get right into the profile. So I play one Backjack. This is a really good card to send off of Beatrice. It lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, so legal stacking, by the way. And then when you can banish it within the same turn, on your turn or your opponent's turn, and mill the top card of your deck. If it's a normal trap, you can set it and activate it that same turn. So a very cool mechanic. Not a lot of cards allow you to do this. I like it because it lets you play around Blowout. I think I got evenly matched for like 5 cards, and I still won just because I had Backjack in the graveyard, which is kind of poggers. One tour guide. So you might be like, yo, Pack, like, yo, I get it's a budget profile, but why only one tour guide? Well, tour guide is technically one of the worst names to normal summon because it loses to like a lot of hand traps, whereas the BA cards by themselves, like they play into like hand traps a lot better. Tour guide can get Veilered, and you can't really extend with other BAs because, you know, the BA will die if you control a non-BA monster. So usually the one tour guide is mainly to search off of Skarm for the follow-up. So that's why I only play one tour guide. You don't really need more. You could make the argument to play 2 if you really want to, but she wasn't really someone I really wanted to open. She was someone I really wanted to search, so I play her at 1. Triple Skarm, it gives you a plus at end phase. Really good BA name, so I played at 3. Same thing with Graph. It teleports out any BA from the deck, so I played at 3. That's a good name. Triple Seer, I think because I'm playing Fire Lake, Seer is really nice, and Seer makes your deck a lot more grindier. And I figured like with the XYZ event, having a grindy deck is really nice because you can out advantage a lot of decks. So I play Triple Seer because of that. I want Elich just so because it's really good into like zoo monsters. I think like being able to negate Trident with Elich is like kind of nice, and it makes your monster 0 attack, so pretty cool. But just like randomly like a free impermanence, so why not? 2 Farfa, spot removal, probably one of the better BA's names to send. If a lot of people are playing zoos in this format, then Farfa is a really good call. Just to banish the BA monster. Also, the reason why Farfa is so good in this format is because a lot of people are playing XYZ type decks. Farfa makes it so that when you banish an XYZ monsters with materials underneath, when it comes back at end phase, all the materials don't reattach. They're just gone. So like being able to like Farfa a Zeus with like 4 or 5 mats makes it so that the mats just disappear, which is kind of nice. 1 Libic, it gets names out of your hand, and it makes it so that the name that you summon out of your hand doesn't die because it's negated. Triple Rhino Warrior because it's any fiend in the deck. 1 Barbar because it helps you push damage thresholds really well because it burns for 900. So you set your opponent at 7,100, and it's a lot easier to do 7,100 than 8,000. It's also like a random BA name that's a different unique name that you can set up special from the hand, because typically you want to open a good BA name and a bad BA name, and you special the bad name and normal summon the good one and then make Dante. So having like, not optimal names is like fine as one-ofs. So you have Torrential Tribute. I decided to play traps. You see that I don't play any Max C, no Ash Blossoms, any of that. I think because I'm committing to a trap type of strategy, I just chose not to play Max C because there's nothing I'm really drawing into. So you have to take that in consideration. So I decided not to play Max C for that reason. And Max C doesn't really work that well into like zoos. I think that was the meta call that I think a lot of people would play. So I'm like, if you Max C a zoo monster, they make Trident, they draw a card, right? Like you get 1-for-1 trade, which is fine. But I personally prefer just to play trap cards because they just spot removal all the zoo monsters and mirror matches like really well. So I think they're kind of nice. Torrential is just like a board wipe. Compulse is like really good because people go into their extra deck, it shuffles back their extra deck monster. So if you play the mirror match somehow, like if they're also playing BAs, shuffling back their Dante into the extra deck is really nice because they don't have it in the graveyard for Seer. Phoenix Wing Blast is really good. It's just like spot removal. It gets a card out of your hand, so that's kind of nice. Double Breakthrough Skill. I think this card is actually really good this format, in XYZ format specifically, just because like when it's in the graveyard, it has very good versatility into negating Zeus on your own turn, which allows you to set multiple back row even if they reverse Zeus you. And it actually came up in one of my matches where I was able to break through my opponent, set a back row, and that back row allowed me to like come back and regain tempo. So I think Breakthrough Skill is a really good card. I played Double Fire Lake. I mean, I don't think this card is like super optimal or anything like that, but it's just like a really cool nostalgic card to play. I never got the chance to play with it back in the the 2015 golden era, but I figured why not. I want to resolve this card. I want to put it in my deck. It's a really neat card. If you resolve this, you most likely win the game. Triple Fiend Griefing. It's any BA name in the deck or any Fiend in the deck. Plus, it shuffles back opponents' monsters in the graveyard. So this card is like really good because like if you're expecting like a matchup where your opponent plays like Avarice or something like that, if you hold Fiend Griefing for their Avarice, you make it so that they don't draw 2 cards. You send a card, and then you get value off of the card as well. So Fiend Griefing can turn into a Farfa for spot removal. It can send into a Skarm, which gets you follow up. It can send you into a Blackjack, which sets you in other traps. It can send an Alich, which negates cards. Overall, it's just a very, very good card. It adds more consistency to your deck. So Poggers. Dino Mishes, it's a card that is really good spot removal that doesn't discard for cost. So this card is pretty nice. It also, like, being able to summon back a Dino Mishes, being able to block attacks, survive is like really crucial as well. Yeah, I like this card a lot. I've always liked this card in BAs. I just like the fact that it's good spot removal. It gets like bad cards out of your hand sometimes, and then it can summon itself back to block attacks or push for lethal. And then 3 Solemn Strike, just because, you know, it's Strike, right? Like one of the best trap cards arguably in the game. So I just played a 3. If you're on a budget and you don't want to invest in Solemn Strikes, you can play triple Trap Tricks instead, which I think is also fair. It adds more consistency, and it's an SR, I believe. So if you want to play that, be my guest. For the extra deck, I'll be honest, the only cards mandatory in this entire deck from an extra deck perspective is Zeus, 2 Beatrice, triple Dante. Maybe you can get away with 2, 1 Downard, and the rest is literally you can put in anything. Probably Gaia too, right? So like double Dante, double Beatrice, Gaia, Zeus, and Downard is realistically all you need. You can play this card as well, Mech Beast, which is a really good card because it's MST. It MSTs your opponent and then triggers BA names, and Breaksword. So those are like the only 2 like utility cards that are kind of neat. Fortune Tune is also a card I would recommend just because it has a mandatory effect when it's sent from the field to the graveyard to shuffle back level 3s, and then it puts itself back into the extra deck so you can reuse it. So it recycles back level 3s, so you can recycle back like Tour Guide, especially if you've gone through it, which is kind of nice, and extra BA names. And it's really hard to out, so I like Fortune Tune. And then like Acid Golem, Utopic Future are super not necessary. Like, I wouldn't crap them for the event if you don't need to. I just did it because content Omega Law. But anyways, guys, this is the deck. If you guys want to see gameplay, you can check me out on my Twitch, twitch.tv/PackTCG. And I'll probably put some gameplay up here for you guys so you guys can enjoy and understand a little bit more about how the deck functions. But enjoy, have fun with the event, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Gem just magically appeared in my wallet. No, how? How? Do we open more of this? YOLO. This event gives you 1,000 gems for almost free. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Ghost Bell? I got a Ghost Bell. Look, I just got triple graph. I'm sick, man. And another Farfa. And I got the last Dante.